Welcome back. Thom Hartmann here with you. A lot in the news today. The president has left with his entourage for Hawaii first. He's going to that state where that incredible fraud was committed. That they had a couple give birth to a little baby 50 some odd years ago in Hawaii, and named him Barack Obama just so that they could smuggle into the country from Kenya this guy or whatever. This is the conspiracy theory, right? Let us not forget that birtherism I was going to say was a thing. It still is a thing. There are still a lot of Republicans who subscribe to the birther theory that Obama was a fraud, he wasn't really an American, blah, 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 blah. And these are the kind of bizarre conspiracies, not only that brought Donald Trump to the White House, but also that, well, as Doug Perry writes, turned Fox News into the Donald Trump channel. And I'm not sure that there's another way to say it. I mean, it's just it has become the Donald Trump channel. And Doug Perry, he lays out these, conspiracies. Birtherism is the first of the conspiracies that turned Fox into Trump TV, into, GOTV. What Roger Ailes had originally proposed to Richard Nixon. Hey, let's create a television network that only represents the Republican point of view, and that takes all the issues of the day and spins them in the context of the Republican point of view. Let's do that. And sure enough, that's what they did. So, but how do they do it? They do it with fear. They do it with frightening conspiracies. They did it with Obama is an evil, phony president who's actually a Muslim, who's actually gay. Yes, Jerome Corsi was on this program promoting his book that said that Obama was, some sort of gay predator. I mean, you just concatenate all the worst frightened stereotypes from the right. The fears of the homophobes, the hatred of the racists. You throw it all together and boom, toss it out there. So that was birtherism. The second is death panels. Remember death panels? That was rolled out on Fox News by good old Sarah. I mean, the death panels. When Sarah Palin first rolled out the whole death panel thing, and then Chuck Grassley took that and ran with it, it was on Fox News. In fact, PolitiFact called it the 2009 lie of the year. But it worked for them. Then there was Benghazi, another totally invented conspiracy theory. And they milked that for all they could. This is a company that represents itself. It's owned by a billionaire, I get that, but it represents itself as an actual news organization. Just going crazy with Benghazi for years and years, hundreds or tens certainly of millions of dollars spent investigating a non-event. The Seth Rich murder, another non-event. People get killed in Washington, D.C. all the time. It's, there are parts of town that just are not all that safe. And Seth Rich was walking down the street and he got shot. But that's it. The deep state. This is Hannity, described by Pulitzer Prize-winning conservative columnist Bret Stephens as Fox News' dumbest anchor. That's interesting. Bret Stephens is the guy that, when the New York Times hired him, I canceled my subscription with them. In any case, has harped on the idea that members of the so-called deep state, entrenched liberal bureaucrats of the federal government, especially in the U.S. intelligence services, are undertaking a soft coup against Donald Trump. So the deep state, the Trump-Russia investigation, they're saying that this is fake news, that this is just, this is a conspiracy. Their conspiracy theory is that they're the victims of a conspiracy. So it's getting very strange. And in the meantime, we've got this tax plan that's coming out of the midst of all this, that is possible because a billionaire started a television network and another billionaire ran for president. And now you've got a bunch of billionaires who back them, who are saying, okay, we made this happen. We put this money in. We want our pay. We want our money back. And Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren got together to discuss this. This has gone viral on Twitter. You can find it fairly easily. But I think it's an absolutely fascinating little conversation. It runs about 4 minutes on Twitter, but we've chopped out a couple little pieces of it just for you to get a sense of it. Here's the first one.
Or in fact, you can go to any city in any state in America.
Maybe.
And you ask people, do you think it's a good idea to cut Medicaid by $1 trillion, cut Medicare, cut education, cut environmental protection in order to give $1.9 trillion in tax breaks to the wealthiest people in this country? What percentage of the folks do you think would say, oh yeah, that's a really good idea?
Great idea. I'm afraid we're making real low numbers.
I mean, you'll look at it.
Yeah.
Single digits.
Yeah,
okay?
there we are.
And yet, and here is the crisis of our time. Nobody believes that what the Republicans are talking about makes any sense at all. Every poll that we have seen, whether it was health care, whether it's taxes, overwhelming opposition. But there is a group of people, we've got to be honest about this, there is a group of people who think this is a tremendous idea. And those are a handful of billionaire families who, in this election cycle, will spend many hundreds of millions of dollars to elect the candidates who support this crap.
To elect the candidates who support this crap. Yeah. we have some blunt speaking senators here. Here's one more little clip from that clip. It's a great conversation between Bernie and Elizabeth Warren.
We're talking, once again, about a system that's been rigged right here in Washington. Rigged so that the richest, thinnest slice at the top gets more and more, and they kick dirt in everybody else's face.
And the other thing, it's not only that it makes the rich richer at a time of massive income and wealth inequality, but what it does is it fulfills the Koch brothers' agenda. Their agenda is to basically end every federal program, whether it is Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, public education. They're after privatizing virtually every public program that helps working families in order to make the very, very rich richer. This is the issue of our time. And if we don't rally the American people to stand up and create an economy that works for all of us, not for these guys, this country is going to be in deep, deep trouble.
Yeah, and I would say that we already are. And one of the more interesting things about this tax plan that the Republicans are floating is that an incredible benefit, a tax benefit, goes to, or arguably could go to, people like me and Mark Pocan. Mark owns a print shop in Wisconsin, and he's running it as sub S corp. I own this show. I run it as a sub S corp. So we would qualify for pass-through income. In other words, my top income tax rate will go down from 39% down to 25% under this deal. Now, I can understand as an entrepreneur, as a guy who started a business for the first 3 years, took no income whatsoever, put basically all of our retirement savings into it to start this business. Now we've got most of that money back, but I can understand why I can build a case for why I should pay myself perhaps a little more than I pay some of my employees. But I don't understand why I should get a lower tax rate. What am I doing that's so special that I should be spiffed by the federal government beyond all the other spiffs that I get as a business person? The ability to deduct expenses, the ability to have limited liability, the ability to deduct health care and health insurance. I mean, there's all these wonderful benefits that I get as being a small business. And now Trump wants me to also be able to just avoid taxes?